Bowl season is here. Are you ready to cash in on what you know? Where you play is as important as what you play. The pros play at mybookie.ag. All the lines, odds, and plays, both college and pro, all at mybookie.ag. Play where you get paid super fast and there's never a hassle. Step up and mybookie.ag will match your deposit with up to a 50% bonus. Use promo code JJ50 to activate the offer. Don't leave the money on the table. mybookie.ag, promo code JJ50, and your first deposit is matched up to 50%. Play where the pros play because they get paid. mybookie.ag.
And now, Jalen and Jacoby on ESPN Radio.
When I pop the trunk, head to death. Y'all pop the trunk, I pop the hood.
Now act stupid, I'll pop the trunk. Now give me a boom.
He is Jalen Rose.
What up, Joe?
I'm David Jacoby.
And on the cool check-in, center stage on the mic.
And we putting it on wax.
Reggie.
It's the new style.
Do you do that? I don't even think he did that on purpose. I don't even think he did that on purpose. This is ridiculous. How am I supposed to work like this?
Don't edit this out.
We're Jalen Jacoby. What do we do?
I don't understand. I don't even know.
We used to have a chemistry. We were just like one mind, one body between the staff and me and Jalen. Just a hive mind is working together like legs on a centipede. And now Reg forgot how to do the first 10 seconds of the show.
I'm going to tell you what it is.
It's been the same.
I'm going to tell you exactly what it is. Think about this when you see Jeremy Lin's outfits and his multiple hairstyles. Reggie done got famous.
That's what happened. Like, remember CeeLo Green when he was in Goody Mob? You know what I mean? When CeeLo Green was in Goody Mob, he was just like a regular dude. You just see him around. And next thing you know, he's in gold from head to toe. Reggie's going to start dressing like CeeLo Green. Like, he's in that Andre 3000 Erykah Badu part of his career right now. He's blown up.
Yo, shout out to Common and Angela Rye. I love them as a couple.
We love power couples here on Jalen.
No doubt.
We also love to get the show off the ground in a smooth and professional manner, which we have not been able to do all week long.
I bet they have some highly intellectual conversations and really compatible. I'm rooting for them.
Jalen Rose, what you're about to witness is one of the more disrespectful things that I've seen in a preseason game on a basketball court in the National Basketball Association. Andre Robertson is taking a professional basketball player, a wing player, taking a 3-point attempt. Chris Paul doesn't leave the paint, just waves at him and then screams, "Hell nah." I rooted for that ball to go in so hard. Didn't even touch the rim. Do you feel bad for Robertson when this happens?
I do not. He just got a new deal in the offseason. He's a terrible 3-point shooter. He's a worse free throw shooter. And what CP3 was doing was planting a seed to hopefully create a harvest. Because during the offseason, the MVP, Russell Westbrook, saw his team. And by the way, Sam Presti, GM of the year, of the decade. By the way, he's parlayed his roster. Added Paul George. Added Carmelo Anthony. But at the end of games, Robertson's going to be one of the people on the floor with Adams. So based on that, he's already putting it out there. He's got to be the person that's got to make the big shot, whether it's at the beginning of the game, but more importantly, late in games.
It's always the playoff series when it really comes out. It's when you see the same team over and over and over again. At some point, they're like, not only can this dude not shoot threes, he can't shoot free throws. He doesn't want to drive to the basket. He doesn't want to stay in the perimeter. And because I'm a very sensitive person, you know that about me, I just feel so bad for him. I just want the ball to go in so bad, and it just doesn't. It just makes me feel so lonely and scared and emotional about Andre
He should
Robertson.
maybe try from the free throw line, do the Rick Barry underhand, maybe the Bruce Lee Kung Fu kick, the ball into the hoop. But he's going to have to do something because they're going to need his offense because he's definitely a lockdown defender. Did a terrific job on James Harden every time he plays against him.
The addition of Paul George does make him a little less necessary to be on the floor because Paul George is also a great defender. But when you look at the Thunder roster, there's no one else to put in. So there you go, Mr. Robertson. Welcome to wide open threes at the end of big games.
Open for a reason.
Then we have this. This was on Sunday, but it was brought to our staff's attention today. The Philadelphia Eagles were at the line of scrimmage. You know how the quarterback does his pre-snap reads and looks right and left and sees the defense, and sometimes they audible to a different play. And they communicate this to their teammates by yelling things like Omaha is a famous one from Peyton Manning. Well, this time, Carson Wentz is at the line. He yells, 420, 420. And you know what the play was?
LeGarrette.
A run to LeGarrette Blount. Is that a failed test for LeGarrette?
No, because I think he's already in the program.
Oh, he's in the program.
Him in that situation with Le'Veon Bell a couple of years ago got him released by the Steelers. And then led to him going to the Patriots, where he led the NFL in touchdowns. And then now parlayed that into playing with the Philadelphia Eagles, who, by the way, I was watching them play, especially without Sproles, like, why they don't give LeGarrette the ball?
Here's another
thing.
And
they finally did it this past weekend.
You mentioned the Steelers, but the Steelers tried to institute this. Everyone would think they were getting the ball. You know what I mean? If Ben Roethlisberger was like, 420, Le'Veon Bell's like, oh, we got a running back. Like, Martavis goes into motion, and Andre Brown runs a route. And then they'd all just be like, what's going on? The linemen start to stand up. Like, what? Huh? Do I get the ball too? I have a new favorite player in the National Basketball Association. You know I'm a die-easy fan, not just of teams, but also of players.
Lance isn't going to like this.
My guy, Milos Teodosic. I love him so much. You know my game, Jalen. You know there's nothing I love more than an unnecessarily fancy pass. I love fancy passes, especially when they're unnecessary.
David Jacoby play rec ball. He's behind the back bounce pass at least once a game.
Once a possession. Once a possession. And then we have this from my man Teodosic. He gets, rebound from DeAndre, hands it to Teodosic, underhand, full-length pass for absolutely no reason. I love Teodosic so much. Are you now on the Teodosic bandwagon?
He's going to be a good rookie, but no.
Teodosic is not going to be a good rookie. He's going to be the most valuable player of the NBA.
Bowl season is here. Are you ready to cash in on what you know? Where you play is as important as what you play. The pros play at mybookie.ag. All the lines, odds, and plays, both college and pro, all at mybookie.ag. Play where you get paid super fast and there's never a hassle. Step up and mybookie.ag will match your deposit with up to a 50% bonus. Use promo code JJ50 to activate the offer. Don't leave the money on the table. Mybookie.ag, promo code JJ50, and your first deposit is matched up to 50%. Play where the pros play because they get paid. MyBookie.ag.
You know who gives the people what they want? Jerry Rice gives the people what they want. We found out from The Ringer, shout out to Kevin Clark, that Jerry Rice, he likes to golf. And, he's rich. So he golfs at where rich people golf, resorts and big hotels and fancy places where they cater to you. And who else happens to be celebrating on the weekends at these type of places? Couples that are getting married. Jerry Rice crashes at least one wedding a week. Jerry Rice is a habitual wedding crasher.
He's a habitual.
Your thoughts on Mr. Rice's secret life as a wedding crasher?
I have a couple of thoughts when you bring up his name, because recently when we talked about the behavior of Odell Beckham Jr. and Antonio Brown's behavior on the sideline, we relegate ourselves to say, oh, all wide receivers are divas. No, they're not. The greatest one of all time wasn't and isn't. But however, him crashing weddings is totally hilarious to me.
I love it.
Because this is inadvertently like a David Jacoby move. And here's what I mean. David Jacoby loves Fridays, in particular the last topic, because he has a lovely wife and a house full of kids, and he's not rushing home.
I like to celebrate.
For Jerry Rice, this sounds to me, and I would love to be corrected if I'm wrong, a gentleman that's playing golf all day, and he has nobody to go home to. And Jerry Rice married these days, have a girlfriend?
He hears the music playing. He hears the celebrations. He's looking around at some of the dresses. And he's like, I want to be a part of that. And you know what? They're going to let me be a part of that because I am Jerry Rice. I have some questions, though, because this is obviously a boss move. But if you pack a suit so you will crash the wedding later knowing that, is premeditated wedding crashing a soft move?
I'm going to tell you why it's a soft move. A couple of reasons why. You call what he's doing a boss move. Number one, thirst trapping at people's weddings ain't a
Oh,
buffalo.
I like it. We have no evidence that he is thirst trapping. All of the anecdotes are about how nice he is and how he took pictures and how he's on the dance floor doing his Dancing with the Stars thing. Take us behind the curtain, Mr. Rose.
He's like, wait a minute, somebody's getting married. That means there's going to be some nice-looking, dressed-up individuals that are going to be there to participate. And ultimately, they're in the party mood.
Yeah. We know one of them is taken, but the rest of them, who knows?
No question. And the other thing, here's the deal. And you correct me if I'm wrong. So
You're
you go
wrong.
golf all day, you carry your clothes, and instead of going to the crib and remixing and getting ready for the night, you shower?
No, he showers. I think he showers there at the resort and then brings his own wedding attire. I don't know the logistics of all of this, but I absolutely love it. And there is nothing better than this quote. There was a young couple. They got married. Jerry Rice showed up at the wedding, took some pictures. And here's what the bride had to say about the experience. Quote, "The best was when my mother-in-law was kissing Jerry Rice.
See?
My husband went over to his dad and said, 'Dad, Mom is kissing Jerry Rice.' And Dad just nodded and said, 'It's okay.'"
See, this is cultural, no doubt. No question. I told you, because think about this. He's at the wedding kissing somebody. Doesn't even matter if she's in a relationship with somebody else.
The mother of the bride. It was probably just a kiss on the cheek, let's be honest. But she probably held it too long. It was probably a kiss on the cheek that she kind of like stayed there too long with. It was like, what's going on?
She didn't say gave a kiss. She said kissing.
If my wife is kissing Jerry Rice, we got a problem. It's not okay. It's not okay, Jerry Rice. Not okay, Amari Stoudemire. It's not okay. Jerry, come on now. I love this story so much. I want to get remarried just so Jerry Rice can show up at my wedding. So if Jerry Rice shows up at your wedding, Jalen Rose, you're like, okay, cool, fine, let him in. But what if they say it's Jerry Rice and one other person? You're like, okay. How many people is Jerry Rice allowed to bring to your wedding uninvited?
Jerry plus one.
It's Jerry plus one. He got two of his homeboys. He probably could golf with like three other people. If it's Jerry Rice plus his golfing buddies, I'm not going to be able to do it. I'm sorry, Mr. Rice. We'll take a picture with you outside. I really appreciate that you came by, but nah, I'm not going to be able to do it. You can't get it.
You the GOAT and everything, and I got a chance to kick it with you at
But your
ESPN,
homeboys?
but you plus one.
Your homeboys? No. Every year before the NBA season starts, they have a survey where they survey all the GMs and they release the results. There's 47 questions on the survey. Some of them are more predictable than others. The majority of the GMs think the Warriors are going to win the title and LeBron James is the MVP favorite. But some of the other ones that we're going to discuss are a little more interesting, could go different ways. You haven't seen this. We've discussed this. You're probably cheating, but I'm going to let you do it anyway. Who do you think the GMs selected as the Rookie of the Year?
I don't have a rundown on purpose because I didn't want you to think I was cheating.
You never have a rundown.
Lonzo Ball, because once Jeannie Buss says he's the most hyped player we've had since Magic Johnson, once Irvin, the Hall of Fame mogul, says, I expect to see your number in the rafters, once LeVar Ball says he's better than Steph Curry, everybody listens.
If I'm Ben Simmons, I'm like, oh, you forgot about Dre? Like, what happened here? Oh, you forgot about me? LeBron James, you remember him? He signed me up. He's already christened me. Do you remember me? Remember the 6'10" point guard? I'm picking Ben Simmons in that. Next, they have the biggest NBA draft steal. This one's a little trickier. I know you're on the spot. Who do you think the GMs think the best NBA draft steal is in this weird category?
The biggest draft steal.
Weird category. We're going with it.
That is a weird category because
Dennis Smith Jr. It's pretty good. He got picked pretty late. It was a good steal.
I like that one, Dallas Mavs. And don't be surprised if not only he participates but win this year's dunk contest.
Oh, I think so too. Now, this one's a little trickier. Who do you think GMs said they would start a franchise with? Let me just say before you answer, this was a close race. 29% was the winner, which means there's a lot of other people that were voted on. So 29% of GMs think that this person is the best player to start a franchise with.
So this is one of those answers that a lot of people want to be the smartest person in the room.
Definitely amongst GMs, too.
And they don't want to state the obvious, which is LeBron James.
Yeah, LeBron James. He'll be fine for 5 years. You can start a franchise. Free agents will come play with LeBron because he's LeBron.
Or it could be Kevin Durant. But since people want to be the smartest person in the room, it's got to be Giannis Antetokounmpo.
That's probably a better answer than the GM's answer of Karl Anthony Towns. They also voted Mr. Towns as the best center in the league and most likely to have a breakout season. I watched him in that pregame. I was like, on the preseason game, I was like, this dude, like he hits threes like casually. He hits threes like he's meant to. And finally, they voted this man to be not just the winner of the Best Defensive Player of the Year, but also the Best Perimeter Player, which I found interesting.
Kawhi Leonard.
Best
San Antonio
perimeter
Spurs.
player? Best perimeter player in the National Basketball Association? I can think of some other names that come to mind, like the people that beat him in the MVP race, or I don't know, the champion Steph Curry.
This is one of those things where you start talking about best two-way player. That's really where we're going here. We're talking about a player that's going to be one of the top 2 or 3 players overall MVP-wise, and then one of the guys that's going to be in the running for Defensive Player of the Year.
I would respect Kawhi Leonard's game so much more if he wasn't so boring. That's really what it is for me. I'm shallow. I like the drama. I would respect his game more if he was a more interesting human being. I'm just going to say it out loud into a
Would you
microphone. That's how I
respect
really
it
feel.
more if his braids didn't look 2 weeks old each time you see him?
No. Alex. Alexandra.
A-Dot.
Ms. Morgan. Number 13. World Cup champ.
Alex.
At the happiest place on earth. If you don't know
Disney.
what we're getting at this. World Cup superstar. Alex Morgan, one of the most
And we hate to do
recognizable
this on a Wednesday.
faces in soccer, was enjoying her time at Disney World. Full disclosure, we are owned by a Disney company. And she posted this picture of herself at Disney World with all of her friends with the caption, "Annual around the world in 8 hours, no big." Okay, I've only been at Disney World once when I was a child. However, we have a staff that has lived in the area and they may or may not have done around the world and has educated us as to what this means.
Reggie?
It is going to all 11 countries in the Epcot world and having an adult beverage in each one of those different countries. So for those of you doing the math, that has 11 adult beverages in a short amount of time, which leads to extreme intoxication, which in this case led to Alex and all of the people that she was with being escorted out of Disney World. Now, Jalen, Disney World is the happiest place on earth.
Yeah.
Disney World is a place for Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse, for rides and games and wonder and amusement and really good customer service and smiling people everywhere. Disney World is not the place to get slammered with 11 drinks in a few hours. It just doesn't seem right. Just Disney World responsibly, Alex Morgan. What do you think she was doing here?
It clearly weren't any kids with him.
No. I think there's one baby in that picture. I've done deep research on this. There's one dude holding a baby up like Simba in the picture at one point. I don't think the baby had any adult beverages.
That's the key. When you have multiple adults at a place where it's usually designed for young people to enjoy themselves, all of the adults have to do is get on and off rides and have beverages.
Here's the thing.
And before you know it, you're like, let's try something.
A pack of adults at Disney World, you got to be wary of them. You know what I mean? If you're a parent and you see a pack of 5 or 6 adults in a Disney property, steer clear. Steer the stroller clear a little bit.
They're going to find some trouble.
Steer the stroller away from them. Exactly. Like, you've got some bad intentions if you're there. You're probably going around the world like Alex Morgan. But here's one thing. That was obviously a soft move. But here's something that's a little weirder. There are reports, the deputy said, that Morgan was also said to have shouted that she, quote, knew the Orlando SWAT team as she was being escorted away by police. So you're being escorted out of Disney World by police and you're name dropping that you know the SWAT team? Soft move or boss move?
That's a soft move, especially in an era where we've had unfortunate incidents and tragedies that have taken place.
In Orlando.
Not only in Florida, but in Las Vegas. And so it's just one of those tone-deaf things. I'm not going to pile on too much because they were having a good time enjoying adult beverages. They were at Disneyland, and we appreciate the fact that they were patronizing the company that pays us.
Of course. Let's move on before we get in trouble or fired. So, Jalen, one thing you always say in this show is that you will not stand any Lavar Ball slander.
No. I will not.
I have slandered Lavar Ball on multiple occasions that you just haven't noticed. Sometimes you're here, sometimes you're not. But I'm about to slander Lavar Ball right now. Because the last time we were talking about Lavar Ball, you have to listen, Jalen. You have to defend your guy. The last time we were talking about Lavar Ball, we were talking about how he was pulling his child out of high school, LaMelo, and he was going to educate LaMelo himself, homeschool. He's going to train him for his future basketball career in college and eventually the NBA. Totally understandable. You know, I'm not going to tell someone else how to parent their children. Fine, whatever. No. However, there's new information. The Los Angeles Times has confirmed from the superintendent of Chino Hills High that one of the reasons LeVar Ball is so upset with the administration is because he's tried to stock the basketball team with 4 or 5 children that do not go to the high school, and those children, those students, were not allowed to play on the basketball team. LeVar got angry and then pulled his child. Even after learning this information, Mr. Rose, are you going to still continue to ride for your guy, LeVar Ball?
I actually thought you were going to say something a lot deeper than that. First and foremost, coaches in high schools do this really frequently. And there's a legal ramification to actually do things like this. They're called, trade schools?
Okay.
Where normally, instead of being from that city, being from that province, being from that state, you create a school that's actually not literally an academic institution, and you turn that into a place where young people go and play basketball or their sense of trade. So I'm not so up in arms about that. I was more thinking that you were going to go with when he was asked about finding people to play with for his son LaMelo. He was like, I find pros, I find JUCOs, I find all types of people in the hood.
Yeah, he said, I'm going to go to the hood. I'm going to go to the hood and find all those people there.
And then he said that don't want to learn. That's when I was like, oh.
LeVar. You know what you just did? You just slandered LeVar Ball
No,
on your
I
own
didn't,
program.
because
Yes, you did.
he's
Yes, you did.
the
I caught you.
games,
I caught you.
Signing autographs,
I caught you.
taking selfies.
I caught you.
Keep
I
getting
caught
them
you.
checks.
I caught you.
Hey, I got some advice. I got a question, too, for this program.
Uh-oh.
Hey, LeVar.
Darrell Revis, what are you doing?
Will you adopt me? I still got another year of college eligibility.
Yeah, you're not retired from the pros either. But you would, what if he's like, yeah, sure, I'll adopt you, but you have to wear big Brawler brand sneakers all the time.
How much?
Moving on. Jeremy Lin has a long history of terrible hairstyles, and he's going to continue that history this year. Being wary of being accused of cultural appropriation because he now has a dreadlock hairstyle. He wrote an essay that was very thoughtful on the Players Tribune about, the research that he did about the hairstyle and this and that. So he's cleared himself of cultural appropriation. But to get down to it, we don't need a long essay on the Players Tribune. Just a very quick question to you, Mr. Rose. Are dreadlocks cultural?
They're not.
Thank you.
And the one thing I want to point out about Jeremy Lin, when you get back to the origin of where he started and he came out of nowhere and it was Linsanity, he represented a sense of normalcy as it related to his look and his outfit. All of a sudden, after a few teams and a couple of checks, he's gotten 2 things that I see distinctly on his hands. Too much time and too much money.
It's a great point. I only wish I was afflicted with the same. Today is Wednesday. I'm sure Reggie's not prepared for it, but it's Women Crush Wednesday, where we celebrate women around the world and in our lives.
I can't wait to watch the WNBA championship tonight.
I'm excited about that too.
They need to get paid more. You know what they should do? I know I talked a lot about this with the NFL. I would love if Maya Moore looked at her squad and Candace Parker looked at her squad and say, you know what? The start of the tip tonight, we not playing.
Here's the thing. You always
we need to
suggest
rework our
this.
deals right now.
Let me tell you what's going to happen. Is one day you're going to come to me after we've had a post-show meeting. You're going to say, tomorrow we're going to go on strike. You know what I'm going to say? You know how many people I have in my phone that could easily take your place? I'm not going on strike. No way, Jalen Rose.
Such a sellout.
Let's listen to the first Women Crush Wednesday voicemail.
Hey, so this is an opinion question. My name is Christine from Nash Vegas, Tennessee. I just wanted to ask y'all what your opinion was on deer hunting or just hunting in general. Is this a cultural thing? So just to give you some background, I'm an Asian female. I'm dating this tall, white, skinny boy, and he loves going hunting with his dad. Shout out to Rick. And I just wanted to kind of figure out what kind of cultural thing this is, if you guys have an opinion about it, or anything like that, because this is something definitely my family does not do and we are not interested in. So hope to see you guys answer my question, and then shout out to Reg for tweeting the call. Thank y'all.
Hunting is cultural. I'm just going to say it. Hunting is cultural. Now, I was actually having this conversation with one of my good friends, friend of the show, Kevin Wilds, and he was like,
Big shout, K, man. I had lunch with him today.
And we were talking about hunting and that, and I said to myself, here's what I don't understand about hunting, and I need you to educate me about this, because I don't think I'm ever going to hunt in my life, right? I like to walk through the forest. You know what I mean? I like to dress up. You know, these are things I like to pack snacks. These are all things I like to do. But if the goal is to walk 3 miles into the forest and then kill a large animal, how am I supposed to get the large animal out of the forest? Do I have to put the thing over my shoulders? It's bleeding. You know what I mean? And what if I shoot it and it's not dead and then I have to kill it? None of this seems like something I want to be a part of. And if I did, then here's the next thing. If I do kill the animal, I feel a responsibility to honor that animal's life by using as much of that animal as I can. How much venison do you think I can eat over the next month? And what am I going to do with the animal skin? I just don't like the logistics of it all. I'm not carrying a 200-pound deer 4 miles on a hike through the forest while it bleeds all over me. It's just not going to happen.
A few things. Thank you for the call. Appreciate the love. This is 1,000% cultural. Here's the deal. Hunting and golf were viewed in a lot of ways equal to me as I'm concerned.
Oh, to you. Okay, that's fine. To you.
Because there were things that were happening in this country, but people that look like me really weren't participating in.
Sure.
And the one thing about hunting, you touched on it, but I want to go a little bit deeper. I'm not walking in the forest, number one, with one of my homeboys, and we both got guns.
Dick Cheney. Shout out Dick Cheney.
That's all bad. Number two, I'm not ducking and hiding and sitting still for a really long time.
That's what someone said to me. They're like, oh, you don't walk, you sit there. I'm like, wait, you want me to sit still for 4 hours? What?
That's another thing. I'm too antsy.
Only way I'm sitting still for 4 hours if I'm playing blackjack with you and the Podfather.
No question. And the reason why I bring both of those things up is most of the time we can't be without our phones that long.
Yeah, for real.
You know,
you want me to spray some deer musk around on some trees?
And
what
the
is
other
this?
thing is, I'm not shooting anything and then eating it.
No, I don't want that. You know what? Here's the thing. You know what you don't have to do? Shoot lobsters.
No
you don't have to shoot lobsters. Do you know how you get lobsters? You put some fins on and you go swim down deep. You grab the little guy, you throw him in a pot.
And do you also take out the bullet?
I guess you have to at some point. All the logistics, the bleeding, and Reggie got in my ear because I guess he's a professional hunter, and he's like, they chop up the deer before you get out of the woods. All right, so now I got a big knife out in the middle of the woods, and I'm cutting up a deer, and it's bleeding everywhere. And you know how when you carve the turkey for Thanksgiving, there's those little parts that are hard to get through? Imagine a deer. That's a turkey. The bones are light.
And also, too, I'm not trying to be at your crib and you got moose heads and deer bodies hanging on the wall.
Oh, no. Nothing is this. No, forget that. I thought you were going to go somewhere else. If you're over my house and I'm like, Jalen, would you like a delicious adult beverage? You know what I mean? We've been, what's that wine drink you like that's cold with the fruit in it? Sangria. Oh, we made some sangria. Just grab some ice out of the freezer. And you open up the freezer and staring back at you is just some unidentified meats.
I'm good.
You're going to leave. You're going to be like, oh, by the way, I got to go right now. My Uber's here.
And lastly, and again, I'm going to go back to comparing hunting and golf.
I don't understand why.
I've learned that that's a way for individuals like yourself to get out the house for a really long time.
That may or may not be why golfing is one of my new favorite hobbies. It takes 4 hours. And you're not supposed to use your phone.
See.
So I'm gone. I love golf. I love golf so much. You know why I'm saying all this? Because I know my wife doesn't listen to the podcast. This is a podcast exclusive segment.
I'll just forward her the link.
She won't click on it. And plus, she won't get this far into the podcast anyway. She hears enough from me and you. My wife doesn't need more Jalen Jacoby in her life. Next, we're going to open up our 1-800-FULL-HOURS Twitter feed. We got a couple questions here. First question is from Michael. He says, Jacoby, who does a majority of the chores discipline? My wife is a breadwinner. I'm a stay-at-home dad. I just got finished saying that my wife doesn't listen to the podcast, but there is no way I'm breaching that topic because someone that she knows might listen to the podcast, so I'm just moving on. Next.
Big shout out to the stay-at-home dads.
Yeah, shout out to the stay-at-home dads.
Shout out.
Next, our great co-producer Big Crown says, will LeBron ever be a keep getting them checks player? Good question. Like, how does this end for LeBron? He's going to be Kobe, though.
Jacoby said it first on this program. LeBron's going to be the first NBA player to be in the league and on a roster with his son.
Just remember where you heard that. Because it's going to be the year, 2024 or whatever, if we don't get evaporated by nuclear weapons by then. And it is going to happen. And somewhere you're going to be like, this feels like deja vu. Someone said this before.
And also, you're going to see NBA seeding go from 1 through 16.
It is.
Before you know it.
It's going to happen.
Yep.
We might as well talk about the Indians and the Washington football team changing their names, too.
Yep.
The Cleveland baseball team and the Washington football team changing their names
guaranteed to happen. We have, do we have anybody that cares a lot about statues here?
Let me see. I know someone.
Oh, we do. Uncle Mar wants to know, will Vince Carter's statue be the arm in the rim dunk, the windmill dunk, or the between the legs dunk?
You got to be jumping over Frederick
That's what
Weiss.
I was about to say. It is, but here's the thing. Don't put Frederick Weiss in there either. So I just want to see him, legs spread, arm raised, with one hand down like it is on his head. Remember he put his hand on his head to do it? That's what I want to see from him.
That
even though it wasn't for the Raptors.
I've never been dunked on. I'm good.
Even though it was, I don't even know, he got dunked over. That was impressive.
But the only thing is, some people may say it's going to resemble MJ's statue. For those that don't know, he was originally called Air Canada.
MJ's statue looks like a chocolate bar that's been left in the car on a hot day. That's all I have to say. Next, Ryan. Do you remember Ryan who wrote us about his hairline?
Yep.
So he sent in a picture. He sent a picture. He said, my hairline is fine, guys. I think he's just a bad barber. Thanks for shouting. Hairline looks good. So you, Ryan, first of all, I'm really glad you came here first because, I just happen to have right here with me the greatest hairline in the game, the greatest hairline that ever was, legendary Hall of Fame hairline, Jalen Rose in front of me. And I have to say that I think Ryan specifically went to another barber and got this done just for this picture for us to evaluate it. But the fade looks good. The hairline looks good. Shout to you, Ryan.
Looked like he hiding from somebody, too.
He does. He put the phone right in front of his face.
That's not a selfie, bro. He probably got them boys after him.
Oh, no. This is what happens,
That's your luck, Ryan. Hopefully this don't get you caught up.
Yeah, whenever Jalen Rose gives you a compliment, you got to be careful, Ryan. That's the way it goes. Let's give the people what they want. Do we have another voicemail, Reg? Is Reg even listening? We got another female voicemail. Let's do one more.
Hey, Jalen Jacoby, this is Jasmine calling from Pittsburgh. I wanted to call in for Women Crush Wednesday. Did you guys know that women also wear do-rags? Some prefer scarves, but I actually like to wear my do-rag when I wrap my hair, and I actually tuck the ends. I wanted to share that with you guys and also ask you this question. Soft move or boss move? Wearing your significant other's clothes. It's getting cold here, and I actually prefer that my boyfriend's sweaters. They're actually nice and comfy and nice and warm. So, what do you guys think? Also, I'm a huge Washington Wizards fan, and I'm just wondering, do you think they'll make the Eastern Conference Championships this season? I really hope that they do. Let me know what you think. Keep giving people what they want. Talk to you soon. Thanks. Bye.
Here's the deal. Individuals like this caller, I want to make sure they at least get some gear from our show. If nothing else, a T-shirt.
Shout out.
This is one of my favorite calls for a couple of reasons.
Oh, I like this. Why?
Number one, she talked about rocking the do-rag. That's something that on Women Crush Wednesday you would have thought we'd addressed by now. We clearly ignored the fact that they do specific things to treat their hair, and we omitted the fact that they wear do-rags as well. Number two, send us a picture of you rocking your do-rag.
Shout out.
Number three, there's nothing a man loves more than when his significant other is rocking his clothes. Nothing more.
It's like high school all over again. It really is.
Question
it's
about
like high school.
That's the ultimate boss move.
And you can do it casual pajama style, or you can, get a little saucy with it too.
No question about it. And lastly, will the Wizards?
No.
By the way,
No.
John Wall got
Answer's
paid
no.
this all season. I appreciate his big deal. Will they make the conference finals?
No.
The Boston Celtics and the Cleveland Cavaliers occupy those positions.
I do want to say this, that my wife, who is black, won't wear a do-rag, but sometimes when she gets her hair done, she will wear like a silk bandana. It's like she'll wear a silk bandana and tie it up, which basically has a do-rag-like effect. So that does make sense to me.
Got to lay it down, got to treat it. And the other thing, never touch a woman's hair.
No. All right. Next, we're going back to the tweets. This one's from Mr. Woodward. Jalen was the only Wolverine I ever liked as a diehard Spartan fan. Anyway, how much does Jalen have UN winning by against MSU this Saturday? Big
Thank
rivalry
you for the call.
game.
Appreciate the Spartan love.
It was a tweet, but sure.
Shout out.
Some of my favorite individuals are actually Spartans. Magic Johnson,
Jamel
Steve
Hill.
Smith, Jamel Hill. And also, there are more students across the country at the from the Jalen Rose Leadership Academy at Michigan State than any other college.
Good point.
Including my nephew. So based
Troy.
on that alone, do not be surprised when you see me on campus going to visit my nephew and those students from the Jalen Rose Leadership Academy. I got love for Michigan State. Now, this weekend, Wolverines by 4.
4. That's a close game. You know what could happen at the end? The Wolverines could decide that they want to punt just to seal the victory, and they're up by 4. You know, field position game, clock's ticking down. They could just drop back to punt. Something could go wrong. We've seen it happen before.
A gentleman named Jalen from Detroit, of course, blocks it and runs it in for a touchdown.
If I was the associate AD of Michigan State, I would do something very strategic right now. I'd find out Jalen's address, and I would send him the biggest box of Spartan gear. Because I know one thing you can't resist. You cannot resist wearing some free gear. I'll get you in your size. It'll be a nice big sweatshirt.
XL top,
and next
XL
thing, yeah,
bottom.
exactly. And then next thing you know, Jalen Rose is photographed out and about wearing Michigan State gear right before the big game.
Never. Hail to the victors.
Troy has, this is interesting. He said, OJ spotted playing golf in Nevada, soft move or boss move. That's a boss move, man. You've been in jail for 9 years. Come on, man. He's been in jail for 9 years. You know, they got basketball hoops in jail. They got weights. They don't have golf courses.
You heard the great American philosopher David Jacoby talk about this on his program. Soft move was that he wasn't picked up in a white Bronco.
Gotta get picked up in a white Bronco. You got to.
The boss move was that it at least was a white truck.
It was a white truck. It did kind of look like a white Bronco. And if you're going to pick up OJ and you have a white SUV, I think you got to borrow somebody else's car. Finally, we have this from Mario. Jalen, choose one. Drink red wine with LeBron or go to a rave with Klay Thompson.
Red wine with LeBron.
I know, Jalen Rose doesn't rave. Do you know what a rave is? What's a rave? Explain the plot to a rave.
It's cultural. It's individuals getting really wasted, music really loud, drinking things that I probably don't drink, inhaling drugs that I don't support. And no, Klay Thompson wouldn't do something like that.
You had it at Cultural. You got a voicemail?
Hi, Jalen Jacoby. Shout out to Reggie. This is Kim from Washington, D.C. My fiance and I listen to your show every morning during our commute to downtown. We're getting married this Saturday, and I wanted to surprise him with a shout-out on the show. Shout out to Dennis, a.k.a. Drost. Quick question, soft move or boss move? Groom crying at their wedding. Thank you, guys. Keep giving the people, especially the ladies, what they want.
Big shout to you, Dennis. First
Congratulations,
of all,
Kim. Big shout to DC and the DMV.
You know you got a real one when your wife is like, I want to listen to Jalen and Jacoby as we commute together. Like
you
that
gotta
is
ride or die.
You should
Dennis,
just get the ring tattooed on your finger.
Dennis, you're gonna do a lot of things in life. Don't mess up with Kim.
Don't mess up with Kim. And if you cry at the wedding, just do you, Dennis. Don't try to fight back the tears. Crying at the wedding, the groom crying at the wedding is cute. Everybody likes it. Everybody likes it. Just do it.
And I got more news for Dennis. She listens to Jalen and Jacoby with you. Don't mess it up.
Don't.
Especially between now and the wedding.
Another
the whole bachelor party thing, it's a setup.
Here's another
Don't
thing.
do it.
Another thing. Don't let Jerry Rice in your wedding. You know what I mean? If Jerry Rice is outside, don't let him in the wedding, okay? And finally, this is one piece of advice I give all couples that are about to be married. Promise you this. Something will go wrong on the wedding day. Something will go wrong. The caterer, the weather, the family's fighting. Something's going to go wrong. You have to know that going in. It's about how you deal with it and respond to it. Don't get freaked out.
You're
we'll be back tomorrow.
Too kind.